Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. The Monday jury panel for the 62nd District Court has been canceled, according to District Clerk Cheryl Fulcher. County Court at Law Judge Amy McCorkle-Smith has announced her intention not to seek re-election next term. The next term begins January 1st, 2019. In a press release, she stated that she has been privileged to serve as County Court at Law Judge for the past 21 years as of March 18th. However, it's time to hand the gavel to someone else. She calls serving the people of Hopkins County one of the greatest honors of her life. Hopkins County Sheriff Lewis Tatum was one of more than 120 sheriffs and other law enforcement officers from around the state that visited the 85th legislature. The sheriffs met with lawmakers to express their interest in what legislative actions are taken, show their support for the lawmakers, and exhibit a unity among the sheriffs of Texas. Sheriffs spent the day meeting with individual senators and representatives to discuss pending legislation and provide input on bills that affect the citizens of the state of Texas. Here's Don Julian with sports.
He told me I'd been late ever since after that. Oh, Jay Dowdy hits this pitch well, hit to right field, and it bounces up against the wall. Driver scores. Here comes Allen in to score. Here comes a third run in to score. The throw to third is not in time, as also scoring for the Lady Cats was Sadie Stroud. So when they finally got a hit, Eric, it was a huge one, a 3 RBI triple by Jay Dowdy. After a disappointing loss to Pine Tree Tuesday night, the Lady Cats softball team bounced back to steamroll Marshall 20-1 at Lady Cat Park Thursday afternoon. And I talked with Lady Cat softball coach David Carrillo after the game.
I felt good going into this game, like I talked to you this morning, because I knew we hit the ball well this morning. You know, we just kind of put the pitching machine out there, and they were stroking it around really well. So, you know, we felt good going into the game.
I call this the gaudy statistic game for the Lady Cats. Everybody up and down the order, just some tremendous hitting and RBIs and lots of good stuff.
Yes, they definitely hit the ball well. And one of the things that I was really pleased with is we had a lot of not just singles. We were hitting the ball in the alleys and getting doubles and triples and stuff, and our kids really hustled. And, I mean, that's all you can ask for. I thought they did a great job of coming back, especially, you know, from that Pine Tree thing. It could get pretty much you could be down, but their attitudes were great this morning. They bounced back pretty quick, and I was really pleased with how we came back.
You know, Jay Dowdy, our first couple of bats seemed like a double and a triple, and then, of course, you predicted it now. You told me before the game that you thought Brinkley Driver was going to hit one out of here.
Yes, Brinkley's scary. I tell you, she can blast them. I mean, she would have hit a second one if we'd have put that little edge a little bit lower there, because she did smoke one, and she's just an amazing hitter. She hits for power. She can hit opposite field if you need her to. It just depends. Whatever pitch you throw her, she's going to take it that way. So, you know, hats off to her, you know, and I know her dad works really hard with her, and she just does a great job, you know, really a tremendous hitter.
Now, you got 2 good innings out of Bailey Haggerty, and then 3 good innings out of Allie Fight. And
yes.
Allie really had the strikeout ball work.
Yes, and that was a big plus. You know, we feel Bailey's throwing really well right now, and, you know, down the road we're also going to need Allie also, because, you know, when to get to where we need to get to, we know you're going to have 2. And, you know, we're really working getting her back in the groove. So it was a great job by Allie, and like I said, in Bailey, she's always been very steady. So, you know, it was a good thing to see. You know, a lot of things, you know, with Allie, you know, she's only a freshman, you know, and we really have a great problem when, you know, knowing that Bailey's a sophomore and Allie's a freshman. So we have these kids, and they're going to grow and mature and continue to just do great things for us.
All right. The way I read the schedule, I think we were talking about you playing Mount Pleasant, but it looks like to me you've got a trip next Tuesday to Texas High.
Yes, we play Texas High at Texas High on Tuesday, and then we come back. We're open on that Friday, and then we come back around and play Mount Pleasant at home, I believe. So those 2 games will be the test, definitely. So we'll have a chance to kind of look after Tuesday and see where we stand going into the Mount Pleasant game. But, you know, like I told you earlier, we're just taking one game at a time, focus on Texas High, and, you know, see how it goes.
I'm kind of getting this dogfight thing down, because I would have thought the test might have been Hallsville, or maybe the game with Pine Tree, but now we look up and, here comes Texas High and here comes Mount Pleasant.
Yeah,
it just doesn't get easy, does it?
Yes, I was looking at that because, like I said, I was focused on Marshall, and then I kind of peeked a little bit in the next week and saw those two coming. And it's just going to be a great, great district race. And we, as coaches, we knew this going into it, and even the district coaches knew that it was going to be a dogfight. And on any given night, anyone can beat anyone, and you're going to have to bring your A game every game. So, that being said, it's a challenge to our girls, and they know that. They know what's at stake, and they know they got to bring their A game every day. So, that being said, it's fun again to see them bounce back after that loss in Pine Tree. But I know that they're ready to battle, and we're fixing to battle, the next 2 weeks, and really see where we stand after the first week of district or first round.
All these things going in your way, and you got a beautiful ballpark on top of it.
Yeah. I spent yesterday kind of messing around over here. It's a lot of fun to play with. We are truly blessed. It's just nice, and I always believe you be a good steward with what you have. And for those 10 years that I was here, I was a good steward with what we had, and I definitely will be a good steward with what we have now. So it's amazing, a true blessing again, and our kids deserved it.
The Wildcats baseball team wasn't playing their best Tuesday night in Pine Tree, but they still managed to win their district opener 13-8. I talked about the game with Wildcats baseball coach Jared Hammock.
It was a little uncharacteristic of us to play such poor defense, and our pitchers walked, I believe, 10, and we had 4 errors, so basically 14 guys just put on base with freebies, and I don't think they had but 4 hits. So They weren't swinging the bat great, but we were just helping them so much and keeping them in the game. I think we're swinging the bats really well. I think we're doing exactly what we want to do with our gap-to-gap philosophy, and we jumped out on them, I think 9-4, somewhere in there, and we had to make a pitching change because Ryan, he threw well, but he just had thrown too many.
106.
And we just walked like the first 5 hitters of the 7th inning, and weren't really close, and we just had to make some changes in there, and ultimately it got to 9-8, but we got out of it, and I thought we did a great job in the top of the 7th going back out and scoring. What did we score? 4. And so we kind of put some distance between us, 13-8, and then Argenbright by that time had really gotten loose and going, and I want to say we got 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 7th. So anytime you can win on the road in this district, it's great. I think they're one of the teams chosen to make the playoffs out of this district. So it was a good opening win in spite of some things that we can do better.
It seems to me, Coach, this has got to be one of the best hitting teams that you've had in a long time. They seem to collect a lot of hits.
We have been. We've again, I think it's just been, sometimes my impatience. I'm expecting us to get there quicker, but I think we finally settled into what we've been trying to do for years. Quick story, I had the Salina coach in a tournament tell me, he said, Coach, after you played Sanger, which we double-digit hits and runs, their coach, who I know real well, he called me and said, hey, you're about to play Sulphur, I see. You better get into the gaps with your outfielders because that's where they're going to hit them. Well, that to me was a compliment, that we're doing what you want to do, and so I think we're finally there as a lineup up and down, and it's producing runs and a lot of hits.
You got Marshall next. We know they have an all-world catcher, and I'm sure they're going to be one of the district's best, I would think.
I think they were picked second, even though they had a tough opening night loss to T-High. I think T-High scored 2 in the top of the 7th to beat them 3-2, and so they'll be coming for us. They lost some, but they also have a lot of guys back, and they'll be tough. We always seem to have tough matches here, there, whether it's home or away. It's just they're just always good competition, and it'd be great for our first home district ball game to get a win and go up 2-0 in district. But we're going to have to play well to do it. And like I said, right now we've been playing well the last several games, and so I feel pretty good about where we are.
The Wildcats will be playing Marshall at Eagle Stadium at 7 p.m.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.